Hi, this is Randy again. This is part two related to my previous video about free speech. So what got me, it got me thinking that I was able to express myself and my feelings on my channel when it was about narcissistic abuse. And then I questioned, why was I so free and able to express that? And I came up with the fact that, you know, there was already a budding community that was talking about it. And maybe because it has the flavor of a victim stance, coming from a victim's stance, that it was allowed. And now, you know, that's fine because it worked in my favor. I was able to put up a lot of videos and get most of them monetized because I was talking about something that apparently is politically correct. It's something that it's okay to talk about. It's okay to talk about narcissistic abuse and your experiences, and it's okay to talk about narcissists and how horrible they are. For some reason, that right now is acceptable, and you can get your videos monetized when you do that as well, which was never my original intention, but it turned out that I was able to do that after, I don't know, quite a period of time, because you do have to meet a lot of criteria before you can start monetizing. So then when I pretty much kind of trailed off in talking about narcissism and moved into talking about my dating experiences, I found that I had to be more careful, because now I'm talking about men and women, not talking about narcissists. And because, you know, I'm heterosexual and I'm talking about dating, so I'm talking about my dating experiences, and then you're treading into much more dangerous territory when you're going to talk about men and women and the genders. So I tried to keep it fair, but then when I was keeping it fair, I was also holding in my true feelings and my thoughts, and even some of the science that I know about men and some of the science that I know about human behavior. I found that I wasn't able to necessarily express my thoughts and feelings about relationships and about dating. So then I did research, and then some of my more and more of my videos did not get monetized once I brought in men and women and dating, or if I was in any way, you know, expressing my displeasure with men, then those videos would get, you know, tracked and not monetized. At least they wouldn't get, you know, brought down or anything, but they wouldn't be monetized. So it tells you that, you know, you better watch what you're saying about another gender. So okay, but what, you know, then I was talking about sex addiction, and some of those videos got demonetized, but yet there are a ton of other videos on YouTube that is about sex addiction. I mean, sex addiction is you know, I mean, it's like alcoholism. Are we not allowed to talk about alcoholism on YouTube? Are we not allowed to talk about gambling addiction or addictions, period, on YouTube? Because sex addiction videos have gotten demonetized for me. So that's kind of a shocker. Anyway, oh no, what did I want to say? Oh, okay. So I have more opinions. You know, there's more here where underneath here where all that came from. Except now I'm getting into territory that's even more controversial than just men and women, and I've touched a little bit on them, and then I see the comments, and I have a lot of fear, and I don't go any further because I cannot express what I know to be scientific facts if it's about certain subjects. Just like, you know, Jordan Peterson experienced, except he was brave and is brave, and look at the following he has, and it's not about followers, but it's about there's strength behind him because there's numbers behind him, because he's not the only one that feels like that, and that gives me a lot of hope. So even though I can't express my opinions about certain things that I feel have a basis in science because of recent studies, such as suicide and transgenders, for example, right? I'm not even going to talk about it, but that's an example. The reason I don't do it is because I am afraid, and I'm not willing to, you know, I don't really have a reason to go through a lot of drama just to express some of these opinions that are based on facts. But if I did have a need to do that, I wouldn't be able to do that. And to maybe a couple friends, friends or family, maybe I'm able to express or teach. I say teach because it's just telling them about facts, and I can maybe do that safely with some people around me without them like totally disowning me, but I can't do it like on a public forum like YouTube. But that's what Jordan Peterson is doing, and thank God, because basically everything he says, like a lot of people say what he says is common sense. Well, that's because they probably already know the studies he's talking about, and the knowledge that he is that his opinions and speeches are based on is, you know, pretty much reliable and valid. So a lot of the things are not arguable, but it just brings out feelings in people that didn't know this before, because it's like shattering their world. It's like turning things upside down because they believed something very different, and now they're being told another thing, and so they have this visceral response to it. And yes, that's too bad, but I don't see anything wrong with it. In fact, how can we grow unless we start acknowledging facts about human behavior? All right, this is the end of the second video. Thank you so much for listening.